Okay, right. Okay, okay. Yeah, I like that track. I mean, there was a little bit, it was a little bit awkward. Signature was a little bit weird. The snare pattern sounded like it was falling a bit awkwardly. So I'll have to listen to that a few more times to figure it out. But no, I like that track, definitely. Yeah, it's a completely different vibe to the Dark Pearl, isn't it? I'm a little bit reluctant to pass early judgment on a lot of these tracks, because tracks that come to spring to mind straight off the bat with the Dark Pearl, the track Human on that album, and I left a little note when editing the video. I think it kind of hit me when I was editing the Dark Pearl reaction. When I listened to Human again after hearing it for the first time on the album, and then going back and, you know, getting through the whole album, listening to all the tracks, and just with the build up to that point, Human hit so hard when I was editing the video. Just sonically, nothing has really, you know, sounded amazing to me yet, but we'll continue. I want to give it the benefit of the doubt, but this hasn't excited me. That track, I can see why people may have heard that single and just been a little bit underwhelmed. And to be honest, it all comes back to the Dark Pool. They're a victim of their own success with this album, to be honest, because the Dark Pool is just such a fucking good album. Like, people are so fond of that album even after it was released in 2019. Like, the fact that people who comment on my videos were like so adamant that I need to go back to an album that was released in 2019, and we're like, you know, this shit slaps, and it's been like on repeat ever since. I can see why with that album. Whereas this one, it's just, I won't say feels a little uninspired, it just doesn't excite me so far. I mean, it's not bad, it's just not what everyone, I would imagine, was expecting from these guys. Yeah, it's divisive. It is divisive because of, you know, the album we've come from. The vocals, I like the vocals. I like the vibe of this song again, but you have to just try and you have to make that conscious effort to disconnect yourself from the previous album, because it's just so hard not to do it, and I'm trying to not do it. Like, I mean, if you were to just play this album to me and I didn't know the album that, you know, they'd previously done, I'd say it's not bad. You know what I mean? It's a different vibe. It sounds quite creative. It sounds quite unique. But the thing that's always going to come back to haunt them with this one is people are always going to compare, and that's, unfortunately, comparison is the thief of joy. So I'm trying not to do it. I know it's hard not to. Okay, I like this one. I like this is for me the best so far. It's got a good blend of heavy and experimental. Okay, so I think that was the perfect track that could have come after my semi rant at the end of the last track. This kind of reminds me of is it Pink Floyd? Why do I like this the most on the entire album? Oh, I have goosebumps. I have goosebumps. That was... That was so fucking good. That just felt so nostalgic for some reason. The start of it, the instrumental part of it reminded me of Money by Pink Floyd for some reason. It was kind of like sounded like a cash register opening at the start. Here, give me 1 sec. This was another one of the singles, I believe. It's gone a little bit more electronic in the last like 2 tracks with Casanova as well. There is segments of this where the vocals do sound a little bit like almost background noise, so maybe that's what people were talking about with the overproduction of it. Didn't excite me, being honest, didn't excite me. I believe another single. Might have been the last single, actually. They've really moved away from the guitars though, haven't they? It's gone quite electronic. Okay, as I say it. That one wasn't bad. I think the drummer shined. The drummer stood out on that one, to be honest. There was some drum fills in there. Oh yeah, there needs to be more piano and metal. More piano and metal, please. Okay, and this leads into Heroine, which is the last track on the album. gotta be honest, I'm just gonna call it as I see it and as I hear it. As an outro track, it's just like it almost feels like he's trying to be over theatrical with his vocals. Like his vocals don't need to be, over dramatized or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like by all means, stick to the kind of bass line of your music, but like add in these additional moments where you experiment. And I think that just gives, I think these experimental moments are a lot more enjoyable when you can vibe with the rest of the track because it feels familiar. But it's not a feeling of disappointment. It's just more, I don't know. I don't know what I'm feeling right now, lads. Maybe it is a bit of disappointment. You kind of go in with expectations, and it's hard to not do that when you have people telling you certain things about an album. But I just feel like that felt real, like, I don't know. It didn't feel right. Got to work both ways. I criticize the vocals, but then I say all that to say that I did actually like this vocal segment. I know this is quite experimental based on the last album, but I did like this. People are not gonna like this. I don't care. I don't care what people think. I don't care if people disagree or whatever. These are my opinions as of right now. That album doesn't excite me at all. The second I finished up the Dark Pool, I was absolutely buzzing. You know, my week was made. I knew I just found new music that I am going to be rocking for the next few months on end, if not weeks, or sorry, if not years. Whereas this just doesn't feel that unique. It just doesn't feel like the band, from what I've heard of them, has lived up to the potential. It feels like they've gone way too far down an experimental route, which again I understand is quite a divisive topic because some people think that you should continuously try and experiment, but there is a lot to be said about staying true to what got you to the table. You know what I mean? There was very little of what got them to the table, in my opinion, in this album. From a first listen, again, take everything I say with a pinch of salt, because I could turn around by the time I'm editing this back and find parts that I really like, but it's just in stark contrast to the feelings I had after listening to the Dark Pool for the first time. And I'm not really coming from any place of bias either, because I only heard the Dark Pool like 3 weeks ago, like literally the first time I've heard anything by Thornhill. So like it's not like I'm one of these fans that's had like 2-3 years to digest the last album. So I'm just being honest. I don't particularly care if anyone gets offended by this or gets annoyed, because at the end of the day, it's an opinion. Like, I don't know, I'm a bit deflated, to be honest. It's just like, again, I get a lot of time to listen to these albums in detail, because when I go back and edit them, when I'm doing the edits and everything, it's like you're buffering through the video quite slowly, and you're going back again, testing the edit. So you're hearing the songs over and over again. There was some tracks in there that had appeal. Like I did like Casanova. Casanova was good. I actually really liked the kind of interlude section with Something Terrible Came with the Rain. I really liked that. It was quite unique, a little bit different. It just it was a nostalgic feeling. It reminded me of Pink Floyd with their track Money. Like nothing really I'm looking at on the list strikes me, really stands out. Raw wasn't bad. I mean, there was some, like, it felt like the openers to the album were the whole thing felt experimental, but it felt like the openers to the album were more people pleaser tracks, as in like the masses pleasers. Like they were very almost like poppy sounding. Funnily enough, when I first introduced Thornhill to the channel with the Dark Pool album, I looked up them on Wikipedia just to kind of like, for the memes, to see what Wikipedia said, because I know it's not a very reliable source whatsoever. And Wikipedia said that they were like pop rock, which was probably more in reference to their newer stuff. And I can kind of get that now. Pop rock is probably what I'd nearly call this at this point. It's just honesty. There's not enough honesty in the reaction video scene. Like, how often do you see someone come on and actually just slate an album or say that they didn't like it? It's very often people beat around the bush and be like, oh, you know, I like it. It's like, come on, just be honest. Like, you're not really offending anyone here. It's constructive criticism. It's not like I'm saying I don't like it for absolutely no reason. I just hate it. Like, I don't hate it. I would listen to the album, no problem at all. And I'm trying to remove myself from the fact that it shouldn't have anything to do with the initial album. But again, it does, like, intrinsically it does, because they're the same band. And I've already touched on this point, but it just has to be brought up again. So yeah, look, I'll spin this a few more times. I will go ahead and edit the video and just see how it sits with me. But I don't know, man. I am a little bit disappointed, and that comes from a place of honesty. Again, I'm still spinning the Dark Pool like continuously, back to back to back. Like, I fucking love that album, and that's why it comes from this place of kind of disappointment. So yeah, lads, that's I'm rambling at this stage. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll chat you in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Cheers.